Non questa settimana.
I'd like to leave.
Vorrei
I'd like to
partire
leave settimana prossima.
la settimana prossima.
Vorrei andare in vacanza la settimana prossima.
Vorrei andare in vacanza la settimana prossima. Cosa a vedere in Francia? In Francia.
Ci sono molte cose. Come si dice time in italiano?
Che tempo fa?
Oh, you're not
Che
done
tempo
yet.
fa?
Wait, you're almost done.
Domandi
Che tempo fa?
how's the weather? Ascolti e ripeta la risposta. The response. Bello,
Fa bello.
bello.
Fa bello.
How's the weather?
Che tempo fa?
Che tempo fa?
Fa bello, non fa freddo.
E dilmi
Non fa freddo. But I can't go on vacation to Boston. Ma non posso andare in vacanza questa settimana.
Please. Can I get one cream on the side too, please? And a stir. Can you also say goodbye to my devil?
Huh?
Can you say goodbye to Satan for me? So I'm here at the beach and I'm getting ready to watch a sunrise, which is not too nice today because it's kind of overcast. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about my last few weeks because it's been a while since I've made a video. Although I did document kind of what I've been going through the last 2 or 3 weeks. So let me give you the scenario. I am at the same job for 15 years. I'm self-employed for 10. And then I'm evicted from my restaurant of 10 years. And I have a layoff of 5 months. And this 5 months is very freeing. It's a very, for me, it's like a big vacation. But it's also a time of uncertainty and a time that I've never been in before. So it's like, it's just, it's like a learning process. It's like I'm just going through this time that it's the first time I've been here. It's like I don't know how to respond and what to do. So it's like a learning experience. But it's 5 months of basically moving towards being more minimalistic, which is what I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years, is really moving towards this more minimalistic lifestyle where I'm more free. And this is exactly what I was doing with my restaurant before I was evicted. I was moving towards a more minimalistic approach, and call it minimalism, call it being more free, call it being more in touch with who you really are. It's just this feeling of moving towards more of who you are. And I believe that at our core, we are beings that are not attached to materialistic things, to possessions. Our possessions don't define us. And I know that's how it is for me, certainly. I could care less about any kind of material possessions. They don't define who I am. I am not clinging to the items around me saying, hey, this is me. And that's the lifestyle that I want to live. So if you've been watching my videos, you can really tell that that's the motion that I'm moving towards. I am perfectly fine with being defined as a minimalist, although I don't define myself as anything except a human being going through experiences. So I want to show you about the experiences that I've gone through the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is going through a 5-month basically stagnant. I don't even want to say stagnant because I really enjoyed 5 months of not working. And although I say not working, I did work. The way I paid my bills was through eBay and Craigslist, basically selling possessions that I no longer had any usage for, and somebody else could find usage for, and I could get value from. And to me, that was an ideal lifestyle. But over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I stopped selling things, and a catastrophe happened with my car. And I really didn't take the catastrophes into account. You know, I kind of was just living, you know, to the T. So I said, you know what, I need to get a job. And, you know, the prospect of getting a job, especially after 5 months and 10 years of being self-employed, is a very unfreeing prospect. I knew that I would lose a lot of freedom in the process. So, actually going out and getting a job itself is actually really difficult, especially as a 32-year-old male. Like I said, was self-employed for as long as I was, and going through what I did. So I wanted to give you a little bit on that and show you kind of what I went through, just emotionally. Emotionally, it was kind of rough. It was really rough. And I want to give this to you just in case you know somebody that's gone through similar situations, and you can give them this video and let them know it's gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be fucking okay. Filling out an application. I have never been in this world. I've never been in the filling out the application world. I filled out 2 applications in my whole entire life. This is like a new world to me. New world. So I just wanted to document how I'm feeling. Feeling a little down because I am filling out all these applications, and I've already got 1 reply that said I just wasn't a good candidate for the job, which was kind of a shocker because it was Barnes & Noble's out of all places. And I don't have a lot of time. I need a job. I need a job. So anybody that's watching this and knows anybody that needs somebody who's amazing, motivated, and energetic, let them know I'm a candidate. I'm a candidate. It's just amazing. It's like I'm not one to worry. So it takes a lot to get me worried. I mean, even this, I'm really not worried about it. It's like I know something's going to come along. I'm going to be okay. And I know that I'll be okay. So I'm not really worried. Although if you knew what my status was right now, you'd probably be freaking out. Most people freak out over this kind of stuff, and I don't. And a lot of people say, that's my problem. But I don't know. I just choose not to worry. I'm down to my last $5. This has to feed me. This has to put gas in my car for this week. Don't ask me how it's going to do it. And it has to get me to and from a job, potentially. So, it's interesting. It's interesting. But I waited to the last minute, so I'm to blame. I knew what was at stake. So I'm going to walk a little here. I want to make sure you can hear me because there's a lot of wind out here. And I want to get the sunset, or the sunrise, in the horizon here too as well. So I did get a job. I finally found a job after, you know, looking and going through these self-limiting beliefs of, oh my God, you know, what am I going to do? I'm 13 years old. Nobody's going to want to hire me. And even getting rejected by companies like Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble said that I didn't meet the requirements for their job applicants, which was shocking. Which is really shocking to me. Barnes & Noble is an awesome place, and I love going there, but now I'm kind of bitter towards it because they didn't hire me. So, but I went through these, you know, beliefs and saying these things about myself, which were really not true, and that we all do, and we all make up about ourselves. And I just wanted to tell you about that. I did finally find a job through a friend of mine who actually, ironically, used to work for me. And I'm really grateful that I did find the job. And I'm grateful to her, too, as well, if you're watching. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. I work at a thrift shop. And it's for basically for special needs children. And it supports special needs children. And I move furniture. And I do deliveries, and I'm grateful to have the job. Now I only work 15 to 20 hours a week, which is nice because I still have plenty of freedom, but now I have a boss and I can definitely feel the constrictions. Now I want to tell you a little bit about that because that is so important. It's like when you go from this freedom to having all these constrictions on you, you now have demands. You have demands that you have to meet by other people's will, which is really important to understand because you lose that freedom. And I definitely feel that. It's like I feel this loss of freedom. I'm blessed to have a job. You know, that's the way I look at it. And it's just very short term and temporary for me. And I know this, but there's still demands being put on me that I have to meet and other people's programming that I have to encounter. That's what happens with a boss. You just do that. So I just wanted to tell you about that, and I want to tell you that there's obviously a lot of freedom when you have a job, and I definitely feel that. You feel it on a subconscious level. And the reason why this is because you are doing things because you have to, not because you have them to do, which is a huge difference when you're dealing with the subconscious mind. When you're doing something because you have it to do, it's more fun, it's more light, and you don't take it so serious. It's almost like you can have fun. There's an exciting energy behind it. There's a happy energy behind it. It's a fun energy. I don't want to get in your way here, guys. You're fine. I'm just vlogging for my YouTube channel, that's all. I'm not getting in your way here, am I? All right. Happy sunrise watching. So when you do things because you have to, that's not being forced to do something against your will. As human beings, we are free beings. We like being free. We like freedom. This is why the more you become, I don't even want to say centered, but the more you become who you are, the more free you will feel. And usually that moves you towards a more free lifestyle. So, you know, things like bosses and stuff like that, you'll kind of stray from. You'll want to be self-employed. I'm not saying this is a general thing. I'm just saying, you know, most likely when you're free, you want to be free. You want to be independent. And I'm just displaying how when you have these limitations, and a job is a huge limitation, you definitely feel it subconsciously, and I can feel it. I can feel it. So, but I'm happy to be working for an organization that is supporting a good cause, and that for me was a big thing. I can't tell you how important that was when I was looking. I was saying to myself, you know, I want to just get a temporary job that's going to support me in paying some of my bills, you know, some supplemental income, and I want to make sure it's for a good cause. If it's not for a good cause, I don't want to do it. It's really hard for me to get on board with big corporations that are not doing good for citizens and for people, and they don't have people's best interest at heart. And that to me is really important. I want to work, if I'm going to work, even if it's just a temporary job, I want to make sure it's for the best interests and the good of all. And if it's not, I just can't get motivated to do it. Now this is part of the thing about my restaurant. It was like, when I got to this certain point, it's like, you know, I had these certain realisms, like, you know, I can't no longer cut off my own foot. And that's how I felt about my customers. I was like, you know, I can't no longer sell my customers stuff that I can't eat myself. So I chose to go in a more organic fashion, in a more GMO-friendly fashion, because I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't, you know, if a customer asked me about, you know, what is my favorite meal, what is my favorite food there, And I just couldn't give them a straight answer. I couldn't tell them, hey, you know, I don't eat any of this stuff. It's such a conflict of interest. You know, I just didn't have the motivation to do that anymore. And that's one of the big reasons why I was moving in the direction of my restaurant that I did. And of course, if you came in to my restaurant and you were a customer of mine, you could tell that I was going in this totally more free-driven direction and kind of taking a more minimalistic approach. So you can't really see the sun rising because there's a big cloud in the way, unfortunately. So my goal and my mission is to really find a job. And I don't even want to say job. I just want to I want to get paid really to live this more free, minimalistic lifestyle. And I want to be careful about using the term minimalistic because I don't want people to be like, oh my god, he's a minimalist, or he's this, or he's that, or he's that. I don't really go by any kind of labels. And I don't really like being put in that box. So that's why I hesitate to call myself a minimalist. But so what my goal is now is to really just focus on being more free and really looking for the means to getting paid for being more free. My long-term goal, and I don't even want to say long-term goal, I want to be doing this soon here, is to be traveling around not only the United States but the world and doing motivational speaking and things of that nature. And that's the direction I'm moving towards. So that's what I'm really going to start focusing on right now. And I will continue to work until I feel I don't want to anymore, and support the organization that I'm working for as well, and until I don't want to do it anymore. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about was really going into the having to versus having something to do versus having to do something. I don't know if somebody can relate to that or understand that, but from a subconscious level, from a neuro-linguistic programming level, there is science behind this, there's psychology behind this to why your mind feels trapped in a job. The reason why people feel trapped in a job is because they are. You're actually having to meet somebody else's demands and basically do things that you're not creating, and you're not creating your decisions for you. So therefore you're not creating your own reality and your mind feels trapped. So being free is making conscious decisions about your own reality and moving in your own direction. So you get the information and then you make the decision to make a conscious move ahead towards the direction you want to go. Well, you can't do that with a job, so that's why most people feel trapped. But there is ways around that. And there's ways to minimalize it too as well, and minimalize the feeling trapped part. If anybody's interested in that, I can talk further about that, but whatever. But I just wanted to explain what the having to do versus having something to do. When you have to do something, it's by somebody else's force of will. It's by your own force of will too. You're forcing yourself to do it. Therefore, you're going to resist it because we are not forced creatures. We don't like being forced to do something. It's like a child. When a child is forced to do something, the child resists. We're the same exact way. When we're forced to do something, we resist. Now, when we do things by our own free will because we want to, and we're excited to, and it's fun, and we like to, we'll get on board with it, especially if it's for the greater good. You can see the sun coming up. Beautiful. By the way, I might as well just make this announcement right now. I'm changing my Facebook, and I wanted to take this time to invite anybody who wants to come to my new Facebook and check it out. Please do, if you're interested. I would just like to take a moment out of my morning to thank the devil for such a beautiful sunrise. Thank you so much for such a beautiful sunrise. Kitchen, because I don't have money to put the air on right now in the summer.
And then somebody hollers out the window.
So
a judgment.
I didn't have any air. I was literally sweating my ass off.
Judging them. So that's
in,
so on target, on point here.
and that's
it's just
compounded
so funny how
on
the
last
universe
night
works
trying to
in
get
that
my
fashion.
car